Good afternoon, this is Papa Builder of Things here at Myshire Farm, and boy do we have a beautiful day today here at the Shire. Today we're going to be talking about Manola Ranch waterers. They got a lot of them, and these are the waters that we use. These are the waters we use now. This is the water arrangement that we had for years. We had this arrangement. George has just kind of mocked this up. They would actually be further apart. We had this arrangement inside the cage, and we would have at least 2 per cage in case one would fail. I think the industry has kind of progressed itself to where we're trying to get these outside of the cage now. It was problematic. It worked when the water filled this up, and it filled it up enough that it stopped it. And because of that, if something would crawl underneath there, then it would stop it from going down, and it would just leak all over the place. So you can have these inside the cage, but now there's better mouse traps. They're now outside the cage. We strongly recommend that you put your waters outside. They would set on these, break them, poop in them. It's nasty. But so now they have these setups here that you can actually, if you have these waters that you had inside, you can actually buy just this gazmo here separately, and it would allow you to hook on the outside of the cage. I'm just going to hook it up here. Well, I can hook it down here. Let you hook it on the cage, swing this puppy around, and da-da, it's on the outside of the cage. This one here, this particular one, has a little float in it that works on a different premise. It's actually a float in there that when it goes up, it turns it off. They do have different ones you might be more familiar with, where you actually have to tickle this thing to make the water come out. Those are fine too. And you can also use that old style with this new gazmo. Just hook it on there like that and get those waters out of the cage. So that's kind of handy. If you're starting over, or if you just want to upgrade, this is a beautiful thing, because you can hook these on the cage like yo, and now you got a nice water outside. Still works on the gravity, but this is a really nice upgrade to the cup. You know, a couple birds can be drinking at one time. You can line them up. Again, we do recommend 2 per cage in case one should fail for some reason. But you probably could get by if you're being real observant on your cages. 1 would probably be adequate. These are the granddaddy of them all. This is what we have went to. Of course, we have very large colony cages. They're 2 foot by 8 foot, and we have these on the end. I think this would be one set up for a stacking arrangement, and you can just keep on stacking them. And this would be set up for, you know, side by side. And I mean, you get any handier than that, and bam, you got. Now we don't recommend you having 2 of those on a cage this small. We do have 2 on our big ones, but Zach tells me that, you know, these kind of are a herd mentality, that when they eat, when one eats, they all want to eat. When one drinks, they all want to drink. So this is really a good way to do it. If your cages are big, if they're not so big, this guy here is going to be, you know, plenty adequate. Now, the other thing I want to mention to you, and they don't really have, they didn't give us one to demonstrate, but they're really no more than this float valve. And what we recommend is to put that, they have a float valve specifically for filling up a 5-gallon bucket. And that is pretty handy. You've seen lots of YouTubes where they got the 5-gallon bucket that you fill up, and then you put these in there, and you have these little outside waters for your quail or outside cage or chickens or whatever waters, and that's nice. But to have that 5-gallon bucket, an automatic fill, they sell a float that's very similar to this, and you can have your high pressure water coming into that float. Float keeps the bucket up full, and then you don't have that high pressure coming into any of these pieces of equipment. These little valves, in my opinion, they might work with high pressure, but we know for a fact that they work with low pressure. And so we have a big, I think we used like it's bigger than a 5-gallon bucket, or maybe we did use I think we did use a 5-gallon bucket. And it has high pressure into it, it has a little float, and then it's all gravity that goes from there, and all these have to do is deal with a gravity water pressure, which the first time we did that, we bought some super expensive regulators and water pressure decreasers and stacked them up in rows, spend money on top of money. And then we said, why don't we just use a cow water up there? And it worked good. They also sell these guys here, and we do use PVC. This would plug right straight into a piece of PVC, and that lets you then get to either the black hose or right straight to one of these waterers. So those are nice. You go right to a PVC to this. We have PVC running most of the way, and then we go to the black hose. We do recommend black hose. If you go to clear hose, algae is going to form in there. So it's very important that you use the black hose. It keeps it, it's just really day and night. Use clear hose, you got problems, use black hose, eliminates the problem. They have a litany of stuff on their website, Winona Ranch.
Wynola Ranch.
Wynola Ranch.
.com.
Never do say it. .com. And we have a link to them at our website there at Myshire Farm as well. We've worked with these people now for a couple years, and they have been wonderful to work with, and I'd wear you out just bragging on them, really. They were most gracious for our Quail Con this year, and with their support and the display that they set up, some of the cages that we gave away. These guys have just been fantastic with our 18 and under program that we give away once a month. These guys are giving us a cage to give away to some lucky guy or girl. And the competition, I tell you kids, if you want to enter this competition, it is stiff. Postcards don't get it anymore. Some of these people really go out of the way to try to impress us with how bad they want this stuff. We have up the ante now, and they'll be giving away a brooder as well. So you get eggs, a brooder, one of these cages. I think it looks a lot like this cage, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Are they going to start doing the folding cage?
We're in discussions with it. We don't know what we want to do yet.
We don't know what we're going to be giving away in the future, but they have been a huge supporter of that program, and we love them for it, because we want to keep these kids interested in growing quail. I don't know, Zach, is there anything I forgot to mention?
I don't think so. They do the packs of these, the yellow ones.
Yeah, they sell them by the pack. These are a particularly good deal. There was what?
I think it was like 6 for 10.
$10 or something. None of the pricing is bad. You just got to kind of do the math, because they do bunch them together, and so they're, I don't know, 6 for 10. What is it? under $2. And for getting your waters out of the cage,
Yeah,
these guys here, I didn't mention how easy these were to clean. They just clip off. You dump them out, wipe them out with a paper towel, and clip them back on. And holy moly, is that easier than some of the things we've had to do.
Yeah, you were mentioned that we used to have these in the cage.
Yeah.
We used to have to switch out our waters about twice a year.
Yeah, it did. I don't know if you probably can't hear him, but we did have to switch these out quite often. I don't think it was quite twice a year, but it was probably pretty close to that. So this is, since we've changed over to these other outside, I don't think we've switched them out yet. So it's a good investment. Anyhow, this is Papa, builder of things at Myshire Farm. It was a pleasure to represent these guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you can get a hold of them. And we got a lot of videos coming up on this sort of thing. In particular, the Winola Ranch.
Winola
Ranch. I'm sorry, Winola Ranch. But you know, I'll get it. I'm old. Papa, signing off here at Myshire Farm. Have a great day, folks. Bye-bye.